Hello, and welcome to New Beginnings Start Today, the podcast for people who want to grow deeper in their faith in the Lord. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas Keffer, a minister, licensed clinical pastoral counselor here in Roanoke, Virginia, with a passion for helping people to live their faith. Today, we will talk about building true relationships and how you can learn to relate to other people and grow friendships with them that can last a lifetime. Let's look at this. I grew up in a very conservative community in southwestern Pennsylvania, just south of Pittsburgh. It was a culture that afforded me the opportunity to get to know many of my relatives and people I went to church with and to school with in a very positive way. I am so blessed to have had the privilege of building close friendships with many of them. When school ended on Friday afternoon, we would say to each other, "See you in Sunday school," because we attended the same church, the Vanderbilt Church of Christ. Many of us attended the same Christian service camp, Camp Christian, in the beautiful mountains about 20 miles from where I lived. I have many wonderful memories of us doing things together, and I cherish those memories. There was Joe, Butch or Earl, Jackie, Valerie, Betsy, Barbara, Dennis, Terry, Cindy, Steve, Rich, Janine, and Curly or Anthony, Sally, Dorothy, and Tom. I'm sure that there are more that I could add to this list, but these are the ones that come immediately to mind. People who were actually true close friends that I knew I could count on to be there for me, and they knew that I was truly there for them. I also was very blessed to believe that I was close to all four of my siblings, two brothers and two sisters. My two brothers have since gone to be with the Lord. I look forward to seeing them again. King Solomon tells us about true friendships when he wrote, "A man who has friends must himself be friendly, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." Proverbs 18, verse 24. The king is teaching us that true friendships begin with us being friends with those we want to build friendships with. He also tells us that we can have friendships with others that are closer than friendships that we have with our siblings. There are people who are truly possible, their friendships possible to be closer than siblings. This kind of friendship starts with us having the right attitude toward other people and wanting the best for them in all that is going on in their lives. It is imperative we learn how to choose our friends carefully. I have learned in all the years of ministering to people that it is so easy to be influenced either in a negative way or a positive way by people we associate with. King Solomon makes this point very clear when he writes, "The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray." Proverbs 12, verse 26. We Christians need to be very careful who we associate with because they will have an impact on our lives that will cause us to make good moral decisions or immoral decisions. I have sat with many clients who found themselves in very difficult situations. They have been caught doing things that they should not have been doing. And they looked straight at me and said, "Dr. Keffer, I knew better than to get involved in this mess." They were saying to me that they knew right from wrong, But because of the people they were running with, they had a hard time saying no to what those people who were not friends were asking them to do. I'm thinking of a youth who was caught shoplifting. This youth was at a mall with a group of her friends, or so called friends. They were in a department store, in the clothes department. One of the group stole a clothing item and convinced my client that they could do the same thing because they thought, and she said, we won't get caught. And they left the store. And as they left the store's security person stopped them and called the mall security because he saw them shoplift. They were all arrested and now have that on their permanent record. Those we associate with do make a difference in how we conduct ourselves. The Apostle Paul made this clear as he wrote to the Christians in the great city of Corinth when he wrote, "Do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits." 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33. There is just too much of this happening today because of the lack of having true friends. Jesus commanded us to love others as he loves us when he said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. John 15, verses 12 and 13. This was Jesus' way of telling his disciples that he was going to do just that for them and the world. This is true friendship that we can look at today and work at emulating to the best of our abilities. This is increasingly more difficult in our society today because of how social media is isolating people from interacting with each other face to face. Just think of the time that you spend on your phone, on your tablet, or computer scrolling through the many platforms of social media. Compare that to the time you spend in the physical presence of your family members or your friends. The adolescents of today can find it awkward to be in a conversation with another youth, or anyone for that matter, that does not involve texting. This is also true of many adults who live on their electronics in front of them and explore the wonderful world of social media, which has become addictive in so many ways. I was recently sitting in a waiting room as my wife was having a medical procedure done, and all the people in that waiting room were on their phones, or some had even brought their tablets. I could hear the click of fingernails as the screens of those electronics that they were seeing in their latest news of what was happening that they just had to know about. Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." John 15 and verse 13. This kind of love is a love that has to be learned because no one is exactly what Jesus, or no one knows exactly what Jesus did for you. Jesus built those kinds of friendships with different people in his earthly ministry. He went on to tell his disciples, "You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for servants do not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all things that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. John 15, verses 14 and 15. To have this kind of friendship with Jesus means that you are willing to do what he commands you to do. Jesus is telling us that when we build those kinds and these kinds rather of friendships with other people, it many times turns into very loving and productive relationships. I know that is absolutely true. I think of my wife and the relationship we have with one another. It started with us meeting each other when we were in college. We started doing things together, and that allowed us to really enjoy each other's company. The more we did things, the more we wanted to spend time with each other, and that allowed us to really learn each other. That friendship grew into us having a relationship that ultimately grew into knowing that we were going to spend our lives with each other as husband and wife. This has given us the opportunity to thank the Lord for his many blessings for us over nearly 53 years of marriage. We each know that the love we share will allow us to lay down our lives for one another. True friendships are grounded in the ability to grow a love for others that has the ability to see the blessings God can give you and the friendships you cultivate. The Apostle Paul tells us about that kind of love and what that kind of love is. That when he writes, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7. These are friends that we have that demand that we have patience and kindness for them because of some of their behaviors. Then we have those people in our lives who are our friends who have learned to apply the virtues of patience and kindness. It is evident in how they love us and treat those around them consistently. Then look at the areas that love is not: envious, boastful, proud, does not dishonor others, not self-seeking, not easily angered, and it keeps no records of wrongs. Wow. The areas that love is not, when it is applied in a proper perspective, covers a lot of ways that many people conduct themselves and thus have a hard time building healthy relationships, healthy friendships. I am finding that there are many people who are so self absorbed that they cannot find friendships to be meaningful. They do not trust people to be honest with them, and so they are always on guard. Many of these people have good reasons to believe that the way be that way because of their past life experiences. I have counseled so many people who live this way because of the homes that they were raised in. Very little love or affirmation, and this causes them not to really want to build true relationships. We have to work at building true relationships, and King Solomon teaches us that it is possible when he wrote, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." Proverbs 17, verse 17. So, next time you're with your friends, think about these Bible verses. Are you being the kind of friend the Bible talks about? Are there are there ways you could show more love, kindness, or support to your friends? By applying these biblical principles, we can all build stronger and more meaningful friendships that can make our lives and our communities better. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I want to invite you to contact me and share how you are allowing God to help you be a better friend. Answer this question: what can you do to practice true friendships with those around you? If you're seeing this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and the like button. Click on the share button and share it with all your friends. That would be so helpful to me. So helpful. Tell me about other issues that you would like me to address by leaving your comments. And you can email me at drdouglaskeffer@gmail.com. I also encourage you to get a copy of my book, New Beginnings Start Today with God. It's on my website, www.drdouglaskeffer.com. Click on the link below. Until next time, God bless each of you.